strap when alighting from this train.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to Fife. I'm currently at my parents' house, and I don't know if you can hear them in the background. We have some very vocal, feathered neighbours. They love to sing all throughout the day, which is so lovely. We've been having a bit of a heat wave in Scotland, which for us won't be that hot for many of you that are watching, but it's pretty warm right now, and it's just the morning. Anyway, in the last video, I promised you a little reading wrap-up, some of my thoughts on the past few books that I've read, because I've read quite a few books since our last debrief, and I think I've started to overthink it now. So I thought this morning, let's just sit down. I've had a cuppa already, so I'm ready, I think, with some thoughts. So I think the first book to talk about is There Are Rivers in the Sky by Leif Shafak, and I went into this book with very, very high expectations because I hadn't seen less than a 5-star review for this book. Everybody loved it. I had read The Island of Missing Trees last year. There's some apologies for the background noise if you hear anything. I think somebody's taking their rubbish bin out. I read The Island of Missing Trees last year. Really enjoyed it. I think it maybe even made it into my favourite books list on Goodreads. So went into this book very high expectations, and in the beginning it very much met those expectations. Really enjoyed the beginning. I liked how it looked like maybe the narrator might be water, so like rainwater, snow, any kind of precipitation. And I loved that idea. I thought that was really interesting, very different. However, I would have liked to see more of it. There's an interesting narrator in The Island of Missing Trees. I'm not going to give it away because I think it's a bit of a spoiler to say who or what it is. So I expected something like that, and it wasn't quite like that in my opinion. So I think that's in part one of the reasons I was disappointed is a strong word. I'm not disappointed. It's just different expectations. I also really, really loved, I think his name was Arthur. He had a really fun name as well. I'll just pop it on the screen because he was born in the slums, but named after sort of King Arthur. His storyline was really interesting to me, how he grew up in poverty and he managed to get himself a goodish job and then a really interesting job. It's just his storyline was really interesting to me. Hopefully that's not giving too much away. But then kind of the other two storylines I wasn't as connected with. There's another one that takes place in sort of more modern day London, and the main character is living on a houseboat, and that story was relatively interesting to me. And then the third story took place, I want to say, I've totally forgotten now where it takes place, but along the River Tigris, I'm pretty sure. And that was the least interesting story for me. Somehow I just didn't connect with the characters. So every time it would come back to Arthur's story, I was really interested, and the other times I wasn't quite so connected, and it made me read the book quite slowly because whenever I got to a chapter that I wasn't as interested in the characters, I would automatically end up probably scrolling on my phone or doing something else. So that's how it began, and I really kind of enjoyed it. And then somewhere about a third to halfway through the book, I also lost interest in Arthur's story, which surprised me. I don't know what happened. Somewhere halfway through the book, I just wasn't as interested anymore, and that's a shame. And I think I'm very much an outlier. Everybody loves this book. So if you were thinking of reading it, please do still read it because you might enjoy it. But yeah, not for me. I think, it hurts me to say it because I know that a lot of people love this book, but I think I maybe gave it a 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and maybe I could say a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And maybe if I hadn't gone in with such high expectations, it might be higher, maybe 3. But yeah, didn't love it. Loved the front cover and the book itself, beautiful. And someone asked me why did I give it to a little library, it looked so lovely on my shelf, and I agree. I was tempted to keep it just for visuals. However, I only tend to keep books that I know I'm going to reread or have just really impacted me, and at some point maybe would either give it to somebody or reread it in the future. But they're beautifully written, I would say, to summarise. Beautifully written, enjoyed one of the characters' journeys for the most part, and there were very interesting elements, and I learned a little bit about history. So those are some of the positives, I would say, about their Rivers in the Sky. And then I wanted a little fun palette cleanser, so I went for an Agatha Christie book that I've never read before. And for the most part, I've watched all of the Poirot TV series. So when it comes to reading the books, most of the time I can remember who did it because I've watched it multiple times. Whereas we haven't watched the ABC murders that much for some reason, so I thought that might be interesting. And it was a really fun read. One of my favourite things is one of my favourite characters in the TV series is Arthur Hastings, Captain Hastings, which is Poirot's sort of, I would say, best friend and also just companion. He goes along with some mysteries, and he was writing / narrating the story to us, which I found really interesting, and I actually listened to some of it on, I think, BookBeat. I think probably Goodreads also has it. This is not a sponsored, but it just came to mind there. If you would like a BookBeat trial and you're in the UK, I'll leave a free trial. I think it's maybe 60 days at the moment with my code. And you can enjoy some free audiobooks. So I loved that Captain Hastings was narrating it. It reminded me a little bit of how Watson would narrate Sherlock's stories. And I did really enjoy it. My only thing is, as I was reading it and listening to it, I started to remember that there was something that happened. And so when I was reading and listening, I think I kind of figured out who did it quite quickly, but it was still really fun to see how they did it. How did Poirot get to that conclusion? So would recommend, if you haven't read it, don't know anything about it, it's a really fun little summer read, good little mystery. So would recommend. Hard to say what star rating I would give it. Maybe a 3.5 to 4 out of 5 stars. It's hard for me to give Agatha less than a 3, I would say. And then I've also read a third book, which I actually have with me. I've read and finished, finally, The Book Thief. So I don't know where the receipt's gone, but I had a receipt in it that I was using as a bookmark, and I started this book, I think maybe last April, and for some odd reason, because I don't normally do this, I probably got this far in and something must have happened, or my mood changed and I just put it down and I've never picked up again. So I think, again, this is another book that has a huge love for it, like so many fans, huge fan base, and people often say to me that this is their favourite book. So again, I went in with high expectations, which is never really a good idea, and I did like it. However, it didn't really capture me as much as some other books have, and I expected it to because it has a very interesting narrator, and I can tell you that because it's on the back here. The narrator is deaf, so I thought that was quite an interesting, way of telling the story. However, weirdly, I don't really know why, but I just didn't connect or get attached to any of the characters. So I don't know if this is a spoiler, but it's something that I knew going into it, that it maybe had a bit of a sad ending. And some people I saw in the reviews had said that they had cried for 2 weeks about it, and I was like, oh, I better prepare myself because I don't enjoy a sad book. And when I got towards the end of the book, I couldn't see what could make me that sad, because I wasn't very much attached to anybody, which I know is crazy because everyone really loves the main character, I think, Liesl, and her friends and family, and it was a pretty sad ending. But I was okay. No tears were shed. I was okay. I read it and I was like, nice. I've read it, finished it. I was very happy. I don't have much to say on this book. I am glad I've read it because it is a modern classic, and again, interesting narrator. But yeah, I don't know. There were elements I really enjoyed. I also love when there are illustrations in the book, and there were a few. I'm just trying to find one now. I think, there we go. There's one. One of my favourite characters, maybe if you've read this book, is Max. I'm not going to say too much about who Max is, but I think Max was maybe my favourite character, and I maybe would have enjoyed, I'm saying maybe a lot, but I might have enjoyed if the story had been told from more of Max's point of view. He does have a chapter and you do follow him through the story, but I don't know. I just can't put my finger on why this book didn't connect with me, whereas I can put my finger more on why I didn't enjoy There Are Rivers in the Sky as much as I thought I would. So I'm a bit perplexed why this one didn't stick with me for some reason. Glad I've read it, because now at least if someone mentions it's their favourite book, I kind of know what the story is, and I do understand why they enjoy it, because it is well written, it's unusual. Yeah, I'm really sorry if this is your favourite book and I haven't enjoyed it. But I'm going to pop that back in a little library because I know somebody else will enjoy it, because the odds are they will. So that's what I'm reading. I should have brought the other book up that I'm currently reading. I'll show you, because this is going to be a little bit of a weekend vlog. So I definitely will be showing you that book. But I'm just a few pages in. So we'll see if I stick with it. At the moment, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm feeling it. I'm going to still keep it on the shelf, but I might try another book. We'll see. Covered in pollen.
Actually put up, they've gone to beach.
We're in Baines and they have their air conditioning on, which is simply lovely on this particularly hot day. So I didn't get a chance yesterday to share what I ended up finding in the charity shops. So this is going to be a little mini charity shop haul. And also I didn't mention what books I'm reading either, even though I think you probably saw it when I was sitting outside. But the first thing I found, which was very exciting, actually, this is the first thing. It's this lovely little, I guess it's kind of like a long sleeve shirt, but also sort of like a very light jacket, and that's probably how I would wear it. I'll show it to you properly in a charity shop haul coming to you at some point, but it reminded me a lot of the jacket that Julia Roberts wears in Notting Hill in the dinner scene. It's quite different actually after looking at pictures, but when I saw this I was like, that reminds me of that scene. Hers is a lot more intricate. Hang on one second. So I would never wear it with this yellow top, but I was thinking maybe like a white vest top, a little white t-shirt, and just kind of have it open. Or if I maybe had a black dress and needed a little cover up, something a little bit funkier, maybe not a dressy event, but more of a black dress in the daytime, and I could just wear this on top of it. And I just thought it was really interesting. Kind of when I looked at it, I thought of the 90s, but the more I looked at the label, I actually think it might be sort of early 2000s. It's by a brand called, I think it's an American brand actually, City Blues by Corette. And it is 55% cotton and 45% tencel, and I paid £3.30 for it. Sometimes I feel in the summer, which is when I generally wear my denim jackets, they're sometimes a little bit too warm, they're a bit too thick, whereas this one's very lightweight, and I thought that the stitching on it was just really fun as well. I maybe, if I could pick, maybe wouldn't have picked yellow and maybe have preferred the white instead of the yellow, but it's still really fun, and I particularly love this little collar. When I put it on, my mum had actually said it reminded her of what my grandma, so my dad's mum, would wear every day, because yeah, that's kind of just what she'd be wearing, I think, with some trousers. So that was really fun. So I picked that up from the PDSA, and then we went across the way and I just spotted this cushion and I thought, this reminds me so much of the Golden Girls in the best way, and I just couldn't resist taking it home. It didn't have a price on it, but because my mum and I are in there quite often, the guy recognised me and was just like, just take it for £1. Like £1 is fine, and I think most of their cushions are probably £1 or £2, so that was really good. I've taken the actual cushion out of it because it looked a little bit worse for wear, so I'll just put my own cushion in there. And unfortunately I was hoping to wash these all up, but they're actually just sitting in the washing pile because, as you will have seen, it was super rainy today, which is unusual. It's actually a really nice treat to have a really rainy morning after all the lovely sunshine, which I'm not complaining. Been really enjoying the sunshine and I hope it doesn't go away, but it is nice to have a bit of freshness, and I'm sure my mum's garden and my garden as well in Edinburgh will be very much appreciating it. So that's what I picked up. And then the book that I mentioned that I started and have not continued with, just sometimes I feel, I thought I was in the mood for a book, I start it and I'm like, oh, I think it's not quite the right time for you, but it will be at some point. Doesn't mean I wasn't enjoying it, but it is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. And again, I saw this book everywhere, friends recommended it, so I think I was enjoying it, but somehow it just didn't feel quite the right time. And then I came across Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion, and I'm enjoying this so much. It's so good. There's so many illustrations, so many. It actually says at the beginning, with over 100 drawings by Felix Topolsky. And yeah, having the best time with it. It's so fun. My Fair Lady was one of my all-time favourite movies as a child, and whenever my mum needed to do some housework, because it's quite a long movie, she would just sit me down and I would happily watch My Fair Lady. I didn't get to watch very much TV as a kid. I think it overstimulated me, so there's some of the drawings. Just so beautiful. So when I'm reading it, just such fond memories of the movie that I can't wait to finish the book and rewatch the movie. But yeah, so good. And my mum actually said that she studied this book when she was in high school, and I'd shared this on Instagram as well, and somebody else said that they had also studied it in high school, which is so fun. I wish I did. We did quite a few depressing poems and plays. Yeah, it was good. It made you think, but they were quite depressing. Anyway, I think that's the end of this video. It's been quite an odd video in my opinion, and I have started editing it already, and it's just a very different style, but I thought it was just nice to have a little catch up because I have a lot of videos coming up that are day trips, which are really fun. I have a really fun video with Tasha's mum that I need to edit where we walk from Leith to Saughton Park and back, so lots of fun videos coming up, but I just felt it was nice to sit down, have some book chats, and just have a general catch up. There's one more thing I wanted to catch you up with, the regular watchers, my internet friends. I debated about sharing this, but I'm just going to very briefly touch on it. Also, a little trigger warning if health issues or anything like that is a trigger for you. I think that's pretty much the end of the video, so thank you so much for watching. But if you're okay listening, the last few minutes is just going to be me sharing that unfortunately my mum's not been super healthy recently. Basically, I don't know if I mentioned in other videos, but 3 years ago she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And since then she's had the operation, which went really well. We had excellent doctors, excellent nurses, and then she's also had 2 rounds of chemo over the past 2 years. And unfortunately, a few weeks ago, she felt some symptoms again, and at her checkup the doctor had done a scan, or had arranged a scan, and there's just a little bit of thickening. So basically they got out all the tumour and most of the cancer. The doctor had really said that he was going for 100% gone. The surgeon, he was excellent. A little bit scary, but he really knew his work and was very passionate, I was excellent. We've just been so grateful for friends and family and loved ones praying for us, because it's been a really difficult couple of years, but also not. We've had a lot of peace, and generally my mum's felt very healthy and very she went through chemo last year and barely had any symptoms. Occasionally she was a little bit tired. So yeah, this time she's feeling a little bit under the weather, just because there's other symptoms as well. But I just wanted to share that with you. I know I didn't have to, but just in case maybe content is a little bit sporadic, or maybe I might not be as chipper, I don't know. I'm generally feeling fine, but I also know there are a lot of Christians, because you guys comment on Bible verses that I leave at the end, and just in case any of you out there wanted to keep my mum in your prayers, I would really appreciate it, but obviously no pressure. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to catch you up on. I'm really sorry to leave this on a little bit of a I'm not sure what the word would be, I guess sadder point, but she's doing okay, just to let you know. She's doing fine. As you will have seen, she was out charity shopping with me, so she's doing good. It's just she's not feeling 100% herself, and I think is also a little bit bummed because she's on her holidays now. She does work part-time, and she was looking forward to coming to visit me, and we were planning trips to Glasgow, and hopefully that will all still take place, but at the same time we really want to make sure that she's feeling the best. So yeah, anyway, I will see you in the next video for, I don't know what the next one will be actually. It'll either be the Saughton video, or it'll be a fun video that I for some reason have put off, and it's when my mum visited last time and we did a really fun day trip to Musselburgh. So maybe I should do that one, because that is the oldest one I have in my archive. Basically I've filmed a lot of videos, and because of everything that's been going on, I've just not felt in the creative space to be editing them. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I'm also so grateful that this is my job at the moment, because it's allowed me to spend a lot of time at home helping out with my parents, and I'm just so grateful that you're watching because you make this possible. So thank you so much. I hope that you're all doing well. I'm sending a virtual hug, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.